Welcome back, everybody, to the 1987 Supermod. I'm your host, Brad Drake, and this is my AWA save. We're moving right along on our tour. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. We are on tour number 76, and we are traveling to Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is a Sunday night show. It is the third week of August, and we got an action-packed event. As you know, this is a similar card to what we've seen before, but it has not been seen yet in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So at the top of the card is going to be Hennig and Hall versus Bockwinkel and Zbyszko. Just before that is going to be Bob Backlund, and he'll be wrestling a replacement wrestler for the injured Mr. Saito. We'll have Steve Olsenowski versus Rip Oliver. We'll have Konieczki and Rich versus the Texas Hangman. Alan West will take on Cactus Jack. Candy Devine and Penny Mitchell in an all-ladies tag team match will battle Vivian St. John and Jamie West. Pat Tanaka will take on Sonny Rogers, and in our opener is going to be Reggie Bennett versus the great Wendy Richter. Let's go ahead and head right into it here, folks. This has been a very exciting tour so far. This has been a very exciting time for the AWA. We have crawled out of the cellar. We're making money. We are turning things around. So let's go ahead and get booked for Green Bay, Wisconsin here. We're heading over to the Great Lakes, and we're looking between 4,000 and 8,000. Let's see if we can get Green Bay on that. There it is, Green Bay Veterans Arena. Perfect. We are booked. Let's take a look at our incidents. Uh-oh, what's wrong, Buddy Rose? All right, Buddy Rose put everybody in a good mood. Jamie West. Jamie West bought drinks for everybody. What a woman. Ooh, Bockwinkel has taken Knobs as a protege. Wow. Von Rotschke and Collins, we know that's a protege situation. Let's see who's absent. All right, nothing that should affect us here that we don't already know about. So let's get rolling into it. In our 10-minute opener, we're going to have Bennett versus Richter. Wendy Richter is on one heck of a winning streak. And remember, we're talking about having her take the women's title from Sherry Martel. But obviously, we have not made our mind up on that yet. But it is under consideration with the championship committee, which is me. Of course, Wendy Richter is going to take this one over Reggie Bennett. We're going to keep pushing her to the moon. Next, we have Tanaka versus Rogers. We're going to let this one roll. We don't really mind who wins this one. We're going up to 12 minutes. It's most likely going to be Sonny Rogers, though. And Sonny Rogers is a contender for that World Light Heavyweight title. Next, we have the ladies' tag match. You know, after getting screwed in the TV tapings, we'll see how we do here in scores. Hopefully we do better. I was very, very disappointed with that last set of TV tapings. I really thought we got hosed in the scores, and I just can't figure out why. So Devine and Mitchell versus St. John and West. If any of you have any thoughts on that, please drop a message in the comments and let me know what you think went wrong there. There's Penny Mitchell. Let's look for Jamie West, who brought that nice cart of drinks for everybody. That was very kind of her. Vivian St. John. Another one we're lucky to have signed. If I'm correct, Vivian St. John, yes, is the sister to Brian St. John. Brian St. John was a very technically gifted wrestler that wrestled out of Florida, championship wrestling from Florida for many years. And his sister also started in Florida and traveled around the United States. And she was a very talented lady wrestler. Spent a lot of time in Puerto Rico. She was good. So we've got some very quality, good quality women wrestlers here, everybody. This is definitely a nice small division for the AWA. And again, not too far off from historical accuracy. So again, we don't mind who wins this one. It can go either way. We're in Green Bay. This is a really good town for us. Allen West versus Cactus Jack. I think Cactus Jack has been taking a lot of the wins here lately. So we're going to go ahead and give Allen West the win. It's going to be a 14-minute match. I'll have to adjust the spreadsheet. There he goes. There's Allen West. As I've talked about him before, I always liked Allen West. I thought he had a good look. Let's see if we can't help him get a little bit more over here in the AWA. So, Konitschke and Rich, who are turning out to be a decent tag team, versus the Texas Hangman. I think Johnny Rich has a hanging injury, but he might have healed up from it by now. I think he has. Nick Konitschke. Johnny Rich, also known as Brett Sanders. Not Brett Sanders. What did he wrestle as? Brett, there it is. He wrestled as Davey Rich and Davey Haskins. My mistake. With us is Johnny Rich. And they are wrestling Killer and Psycho. We got to find Killer and Psycho a manager, but we got to get them a true to AWA manager. So we gotta find somebody. I'm gonna get to working on this one. Again, I don't care who wins this match, but I got a feeling it's gonna be Konitschke and Rich, and that's all right. So we're gonna adjust this right now. It's bothering me. And let's get Olsenowski versus Oliver. Again, Steve Olsenowski, serviceable hand. Rip Oliver has him in the technical side of things. Rip Oliver, as we've talked about before, the crippler, spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest. Towards the end of his career, he ended up here in the AWA. Rip Oliver was a good wrestler. So we'll let the computer decide this one. All right, Bob Backlund. We need a good opponent for Bob Backlund. We know Billy Robinson is out of town. I immediately think of Bobby Duncombe as a top heel, but Bobby Duncombe just cannot lose here. I'll tell you what, let's put him in against Buddy Rose. Yeah, put him in against Buddy Rose, and Backlund's going to get the win. So a typical tag team wrestler here, who was also a very accomplished singles wrestler. Buddy Rose will put him in there against Backlund. This will be a good win for Bobby. I always liked Bob Backlund. I understand that he was boring. He was not the guy for rock and wrestling, but he was technically sound. He later developed that evil persona that was terrific. At this time period, he was bouncing around territories, taking matches here and there, did some work in Japan, but he was never full-time with anybody. He did do quite a few shows in the mid to late 80s for the AWA, but again, he was never full-time. But in my save here in 87, he is full-time. So we're glad to have Bob Backlund. I think he's a very good asset to the AWA in this save. So now we have Hall and Hennig, former World Tag Team Champions, versus Bockwinkel and Zbyszko. We're going to do something crazy. We're going to have this one go 30 minutes, and we are going to make this a cage match. This is going to spice things up. We'll see how we do in the scores. All four of these guys know how to do a cage match at this point. This would have been one hell of an entertaining match in a cage match, and blood would have been spilled for certain. So we got this big 30-minute cage match, and we're gonna let this one ride too. I don't care who wins. This is the hottest feud we have going. All four of these guys are on fire in this feud. It is a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and book this segment. Man, look at that stash Scott Hall had. That thing was awesome. For those of you that didn't see Scott Hall until the early 90s, with his appearances in WCW, and then when he came to the WWF, in the late 80s, Scott Hall was just a monster. I mean, he was still a big dude and still put together, but he was really, really put together in the mid to late 80s, and just an absolute monster. He made his presence known in the AWA, and then, like I said, he left and went down to Florida and worked some other territories. But we brought him back here, and we signed him for a year, so he's all ours. So this is going to be one hell of a match here with Bockwinkel and Zbyszko. In the cage. Okay, 145 minutes for this card. Once again, we are in Green Bay. Let's see if we can't sell this mug out, and let's see how this card goes. All right, our opener gets a 54. Nice score for Wendy Richter, and also for Reggie Bennett. I'm starting to think highly of Reggie Bennett. I think she was a pretty good wrestler, and she's improving as her popularity gains here in the AWA. Tanaka versus Rogers. Ooh, Tanaka surprisingly gets the win over Rogers. That's cool. This one could go either way. Both these guys are gaining in popularity. Tanaka got the edge on Rogers here. Nice. All right, our ladies tag match. Once again, the heels take the win. We're going to have to keep an eye on that and change it up in the future, even though we do not have too much longer on this block. Alan West gets the win over Cactus Jack with the press slam. That's all right. I don't mind the red here. Both these guys are improving. They're getting over in the territory. Here we got Konitsky and Rich, just as I predicted. They get the win over the Texas Hangman. And again, there's a lot of red on this one. We're only getting a 31 overall, but that's okay. They're all gaining here. Olsenowski shockingly gets the win over Rip Oliver. Wow. Olsenowski's actually got some decent popularity here in Green Bay. Nice. I wonder who... Gagne. Vern Gagne was the agent of that match. Nice. Nice score. Good. Ooh. Rose and Backlund get a real nice score here. 88 and 80, and it gets an overall 80. Now, why wouldn't this get a higher overall score? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm dumbfounded by this. If any of you have any ideas, please leave a comment below in the comment section, because this is just not making much sense to me. Neither one of these guys are suffering from, the old age deduction. It just, there's plenty of bonuses here. I just don't get it. How does an 88 and an 80 equal an 80? I don't know. You figure it'd been an 84 or an 85. All right, it's their world. We're just living it. Let's see what this big main event has in store for us. I'm excited. This would have been a bloodbath. Green Bay is getting a treat. And check it out, folks. We got a sellout in the Veterans Arena. 94. Yes! Big score. Big score. All right, and look at that. Curt Hennig pins Nick Bockwinkel. Excellent. Excellent score. A fun match. We're going to get some gains here in the Midwest, in the Great Lakes region, no doubt. We're getting that 94 score here, even with a penalty on Scott Hall and a penalty on Bockwinkel. Wow, well, they made up for the last match there. Great score. Terrific. Terrific card. All right, we're going to go ahead and finish this one up. 86 overall. No popularity changes. The only thing I can think of is because we're into the third week. We've already run TV. We've probably maxed out here. but that is a great card, and we had ourselves a sellout, and we are going to make some speeches. We're going to tell Nick Bockwinkel he's the man here, and he is. We're going to praise him for a great performance. Kurt Hennig is getting a pat on the back. I'm going to give Kurt Hennig a hug. What do you think of that? Yeah. And Scotty Hall, Big Scott Hall. If they had a high five option here, I would give him a high five, but I'm going to compliment him on a good performance. And apparently, I accidentally gave the great performance to Nick Konitschke. Okay, no problem. All right, everybody's pleased. We're looking good. We are rolling along here. Look at that. Gary Royal featured. Gary Royal was a hell of a wrestler in his prime and was a former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Spent a lot of time for Crockett and others. All right, you see that? I'm getting Johnny Rich confused with Brett Sawyer, who's Buzz Sawyer's brother. That was my mistake. All right, I got that one figured out now. But it looks like we got a Summerslam. Let's take a look at Summerslam just after we check our inbox here. Debbie Combs is back from her injury. That was the busted up ribs she had. We're glad to have her back. Let's see how Summerslam 87 went over. Even though this is inaccurate because the first SummerSlam was in 88. But that's okay. Hulk Hogan, look at that main event. Hulk Hogan defeats Randy Savage in a cage. Wow. Steamboat beats Andre the Giant. Oh no. Junkyard Dog and Bruno Sammartino defeat the Hart Foundation for the World Tag Team title. Come on. Oh, this game cracks me up. This game absolutely cracks me up. As cool as that is, I'm most likely going to make an adjustment on that one. King Kong Bundy over Ken Patera. Honky over Billy Jack Haynes. I don't know who this next wave is in a dog. Hernandez and Race. Pretty nasty. Over the Rougeos. Fair enough. And that, everybody, with 115 matches, 16 gimmick matches, was WWF SummerSlam 87, which did not actually occur until 88. UWF apparently have hired Brad Rangans. Brad Rangans was a long-time AWA star and a big-time trainer for the AWA. As a matter of fact, he was still training on his own here. And I think in 87, he was already training Scott Norton. Brad Rangans also had a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling for years, where he was their American agent. He brought talent over there for them, on top of wrestling there for themselves, wrestling for them himself. Him and Masa Saito acted as agents from the U.S. to get talent over to New Japan. Brad Rangans was a great athlete, a great amateur wrestler. I believe he was an Olympian, and he was definitely an asset to wrestling and trained quite a few people. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that does it here for this episode. I'm glad you were with us, glad you joined us. Stick around. This tour is going to keep heating up. We got next week again open for tours before we then go back into television tapings. We're going to have a couple television tapings, but not until the following week. So we are rolling right back into our tour. Let's take a look at it. And this is our last block for this tour. And then we start a whole new schedule after these last 3 weeks. So stick with us. This has been a lot of fun. We're having a great time. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the participation. If you haven't already, please give us a like. Give us a go ahead and give us a follow. Become a subscriber. And join us on Facebook for some conversation about the Supermod. Facebook.com/1987Supermod. That's Facebook.com/1987Supermod. If you want this mod, all you have to do is contact me. I will be more than happy to send you over the link to the Google page. You can reach me at braddrake.net/contact. Just drop me a line and I'll send you the link. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.